What's up, my young friends? We've been reading a chapter book. You might have noticed that. And we're going to do another installment today. The book is called The Best of Iggy by Annie Barrows. She's the lady who wrote Ivy and Bean, which is a really great series. If you haven't read it yet, you can next school year, or maybe see if your parents can get it for you in an ebook. So yesterday I posted two videos, chapters 1 through 3 and 3 through 6, and today I'm going to start with chapter 7, and I think we're going to definitely get through the book today. I'll probably do it in two separate videos though, okay? So here we go with chapter 7. If you don't know what happened in the story yet, you should go back and watch the other videos because I'm starting right in the middle of the story, and if you start here, you're not going to know what's happening. So go listen to parts 1 and parts 2 first, okay? This is part 3. Part 3, chapter 7, What the Parents Saw. Here, in order, is what the parents saw. Number 1, Jeremy standing on the edge of the roof of the shed. Number 2, Iggy storming up the ladder screeching, "You're dead, Jeremy Grierson!" Number 3, Jeremy looking over his shoulder in terror as Iggy reached the roof. Number 4, Iggy lunging for Jeremy. Number 5, Jeremy leaping wildly into the air, screaming, "Help!" Chapter 8, The Undead. Jeremy didn't die. This is a children's book. Kids never die in children's books. No, wait, there is one where kids die. I hate that book. I would never write a book like that, so no need to worry. Jeremy is not dead. Now you're probably guessing that he broke his arm. Wrong. He didn't break his other arm either. In fact, he was fine. Certainly he was scared, as anyone would be if he plunged through the air and boinged off a trampoline and slammed into the ground. But he was fine. He even played at his recital that afternoon. It wasn't his best performance ever, but maybe he hadn't practiced enough. I want to say it one more time. Jeremy Grierson was 100% A-OK. Think about it. Here's some time for you to think. They drew dots for you to think. Now, think about what you know about extenuating circumstances. If necessary, go back and look at chapter 3. Now, think about Iggy. Iggy, who had been called the Piggy, plus a thing that nobody is supposed to say, plus being sent outside for accidental spitting, plus not getting foods he liked, plus being smiled at in a pitying way, plus being kicked. Think about all of that. Now look back to the last chapter, to the list of what the parents saw. We just read that. Put all of these ideas together, and I think you'll agree with me that the big problem was timing. The big problem was all three parents coming out on the back porch at the exact moment that Iggy was rushing up the ladder screaming, "You're dead, Jeremy Grierson!" And Jeremy made the choice to leap from the roof. It looked bad. It looked as though Iggy had chased Jeremy off the roof. But here's an important point. What seemed to be happening was not happening. Iggy had been trying to stop Jeremy from jumping off the roof. If Iggy had caught Jeremy on the roof, he might have hit him, but he would not have pushed him off the roof. Jumping off the roof had been Jeremy's own idea. Iggy hadn't made him do it. Iggy did his best to make this clear to the parents. Dun, dun, dun. They didn't believe him. Jeremy stood next to his mom, still a little pale and sweating, not saying much. He could have helped Iggy by telling the truth, but he didn't. However, he also didn't mention the thing that Iggy had done with the skateboard. If he had, Iggy's parents would have given him one of their famous "make him regret it so much he'll never do it again" punishments. Iggy was almost grateful that Jeremy said nothing. Of course, there were some bad minutes. There was a minute with Dad pointing his finger at Iggy's face, a minute with his mom looking sad, an even worse minute when there were tears sparkling in her eyes. But after that, she hugged him and whispered that she just wanted him to think, for once in his life, think. There was a series of bad minutes when the punishment was being explained. Then the door to Iggy's room closed behind his dad. Iggy heard his mom and dad whispering in the hall. He didn't feel good. How could he? His parents thought he was terrible. They were probably wishing they had a son like Jeremy Grierson. He could almost hear them say, "If only Iggy were like Jeremy, we would be so happy." What was that they were saying? He pressed his ear against the door, but all he heard was from from his dad and from his mom. And then their shoes on the stairs. And then it was quiet. Iggy lay on his old hairy rug. He felt bad. If I could do it over, thought Iggy, I wouldn't chase Jeremy up the ladder, and I wouldn't yell, "You're dead, Jeremy Grierson." I wouldn't try to make Jeremy feel uncool either. Wow, that punishment was working. Then Iggy thought of Jeremy's face when he'd seen Iggy reach the roof. He thought of Jeremy's expression when he realized that Iggy was going to hit him. He thought of the precise moment when Jeremy decided that it would be better to jump off the roof. And in that tiny fraction of a second, Iggy could see that Jeremy Grierson regretted everything he'd done that had led to that moment. Iggy smiled. "Oh, yeah," he whispered. "I play the cello." His smile grew bigger. "I have Megalopolis 5. I have Megalopolis 9. That's 9, you know." Iggy snickered. He rolled over and buried his face in the rug so that no one would hear him. And then he laughed and laughed and laughed. He laughed until he was tired. That was great, he thought. Too bad I got in trouble. Chapter 9, Where Iggy Went. Do you remember the first chapter of this book? You do not. You're a big fat faker. Just go back and read it. Look, more ... to give you time to go back and read it. Hurry up. This chapter is about number 2, things we wish we hadn't done quite as much as we did. Things that weren't ever a good idea, but wouldn't have been bad if we hadn't gone too far. That's what this chapter is about. In this chapter, Iggy goes too far. It began one day after school. Most afternoons, Iggy hung out with Diego or Aiden or Arch or someone else he liked, or he had soccer, or he went with his mom to pick up Molly, or would take Maribel to dance class. But on this day, his mom had a meeting. Maribel and her friend Haley were going to walk Iggy home from school and watch him for 2 hours until his mom got home. Iggy didn't like it. What did watch mean? Did it mean they were going to tell him what to do? They better not. Maribel was only 2.5 years older than he was. And Haley? The day Haley got her new cell phone, she dropped it in the toilet. What gave her the right to watch him? Nothing. There's a picture of being watched. Walking home from school, Iggy decided that he wouldn't let Maribel and Haley boss him around. They might think they were in charge of him, but they weren't. They might think they could ruin his afternoon, but they couldn't. He'd show them. Actually, though, Maribel and Haley didn't try to ruin Iggy's afternoon. In fact, they seemed to be completely uninterested in Iggy or his afternoon. Iggy took 3 cookies for a snack. Maribel didn't say, "You know you're only supposed to have 2. She said, "Do you want me to pour you some milk, Ig?" "I can pour my own milk," said Iggy firmly. "Okay," said Maribel. He spilled a little. After his snack, Iggy said, "I'm going to play Monster Track." Maribel didn't say, you know you're not supposed to play computer games in the afternoon." She said, "Okay." Then she said, "Ooh, Haley, look at this cute shirt." Iggy played Monster Track. He played for 1 hour and 10 minutes. He was only supposed to play on the computer for 1 hour, but nobody stopped him. He kept looking at the clock. 9 minutes, 10 minutes. Where were they? Iggy got up and he went to listen in the hallway. So then she said, "Kylie, you can't wear those. It's against the rules." And then Maribel paused. "Iggy, stop listening." "I'm not." "Go away or I'll tell Mom you bugged us." "What? You call that watching me?" Iggy yelled. "I could be dead for all you know." "Go away." Iggy stomped as hard as he could into the nearest room, which was the bathroom, and slammed the door. He locked it too. Click. So, if they didn't want him around, he'd stay in the bathroom. And when they had to pee, he wouldn't let them in. So, Iggy flushed the toilet. Flush, flush. He draped toilet paper gently over the water to see if it would float. It didn't. Flush. He put 8 drops of shampoo in the toilet. Flush. Boring. He went to the sink part of the bathroom. He turned Maribel's toothbrush upside down so the brush part was touching the yucky part of the toothbrush cup. So, he brushed his hair with Maribel's brush. He wished he had head lice. Not really. He turned the water on and waited till it got warm. Then he washed his hands. He turned the soap around and around in his hands, foaming with millions of bubbles. He tried putting some on his chin for a beard. It dripped off. It was too watery. Shaving cream would be better. His dad wouldn't care if he used a little of his shaving cream. Sometimes when his dad shaved, he gave Iggy his own glop of shaving cream to smear around. This was the same thing, only without Dad. Iggy found the shaving cream. He shook it the way he'd seen his dad do, and then he sprayed. Wow, that stuff really flew. He wiped it off the wall and put it on his face and patted it into a beard shape. He laughed. So this is what he was going to look like when he was an old guy. Better put on a mustache, too. This was when Iggy began to lose his mind, and just a little bit in his hair to make it white. He did think, maybe I shouldn't? Nope, he didn't. He needed more to make it really white. Yeah, that was it, all over. It was like he forgot there would be life after that minute. Iggy looked in the mirror at his white beard and white mustache and white hair. He still looked like a kid. He needed wrinkles. He opened his mom's makeup drawer. Yeah, the stuff she put on her eyes. Eyeliner. Cool. He gave himself a lot of wrinkles. Arr, he mumbled like an old guy. Iggy's mom's car pulled into the driveway. Arr, he groaned. He was really old. Iggy, called Maribel outside the door. Are you okay? Arr, gasped Iggy softly. Iggy, did you hurt yourself? What a great idea. Blood. And then there was all the lipstick in the world just waiting for him. Iggy drew a trail of blood down the side of his face. It seemed small, more like a trickle. He didn't want to wreck the wrinkles or the white hair, but it was a shame not to be bloodier. Arms. Iggy pushed up his sleeve and drew an enormous gush of blood on his arm. Whoa! It looked like someone had tried to cut his arm off. Chop, he drew a big circle of blood around his neck. Someone had tried to cut his head off. Fun! Too bad the top of the lipstick snapped off. He could have done his stomach. Arr, he moaned, staggering around the bathroom. They got me. I'm home, kids, called Iggy's mom, coming in the front door. Mom, shouted Maribel, I think Iggy's hurt. He's in the bathroom crying and I can't get in. Most of Iggy's brain was on vacation. The only part still at work was the hand-moving part, because what Iggy did then was flip the lock on the bathroom door, flip it open, and jump out into the hall covered in shaving cream, eyeliner, and lipstick. Ah! He bellowed. Oh, we're going to stop there. I like the cliffhanger. So we stopped at chapter 9, and next time we're going to read chapter 10, and it's called Extenuating Circumstances, Part 2. I love you guys very much. I hope you're having a great day.